We go to the phone. Good evening, you're on Brainstorms. Hey, why don't you tell us your name so everybody out there can know what an idiot you are? Hey, people who are bloody idiots. Good evening, you're on Brainstorms. Well, let me pick up the phone. Good evening, you're on Brainstorms. That's our local assholes. Let's go to the phone. Good evening, you're on Brainstorms.
Hello, I got a comment that you might think is hostile, but now don't hang up on me and shit. Now hear me out. Now listen, are you listening to me?
I'm listening, providing you're straight.
Straight? What the hell are you talking about? Now listen here. I called the other day, and I want to talk about your ratings. Now this is a serious issue.
You wanted to talk about what?
Your ratings, Jack. Your ratings are in the toilet.
We're not talking about ratings. Ha! Nothing serious in that call, was there? My engineer is going crazy. Good evening, you're on Brainstorms.
What's up, Big Jack?
You, I don't think we want to talk to, do we?
Hello?
Yeah?
Hey, I just got to say to all your audience out there, I'm your #1 caller. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're the #1 pest. That's a call we don't really want to deal with. Where do we go next? This is Brainstorms, you're on it.
Hey, Jack, it's your #1 caller here. I've been trying to call for the last 10 minutes and get a busy signal. What gives?
What do you got to say besides that?
Well, hey, listen, I just got to say, you should have hung up on that last year. I mean, the rest...
Yeah, and I hung up on you, didn't I? It's the same dude. Good evening, you're on Brainstorms.
Hey, now listen, I'll make this short and sweet. I just got to say, oh,
Yeah. Short and sweet it is. I got the button. Good evening, you're on Brainstorms.
what's up, Big Jack?
What's up?
Yeah, I just got to say, a lot of your callers tonight are some real punk bitches.
And that's one of them. You got any nerve? Come on in here and say that sitting here on the chair. Good evening, you're on Brainstorms.
I'm calling your bluff, Jack.
You don't really want me to tell everybody why you're not in school, do you?
How about you let me on your like you...
Folks that call one's bluff ought to be very careful what they do. Good evening, you're on Brainstorms.
Hello, now. Hey, can you hear me all right down today?
Sure, we can hear you.
Yeah, I got to disagree with a lot of what you're saying now. Now, don't get me wrong now. Now, I got a lot of respect for you and your TV calling show, but hey, hold on a second. I'm on a cell phone here. Hold on. I'm on the toilet. I got to wipe my ass. Hold on.
Yeah, that's one of our jokers. Good evening, you're on Brainstorms.
Hi, this is Big Jack.
Yeah.
Hi, I got this number off of a bathroom wall. It said to have a good...
I mean, you got some folks out there that are just a crew of idiots here and there. I'm just saying. Good evening, you're on Brainstorms.
You have an AT&T collect call from...
Oh, we're playing those games again. It's the way it goes, guys. Come on, Alan, leave that alone. We have these folks that call in here and play games with the phone system. You know, we'll take action about that. We can do it. It's traceable. Traceable in this world of electronics, really traceable. So, good evening, you're on Brainstorms.
Hello, Jack. Long-time fan and a first-time caller. You'll have to forgive me if I'm a little nervous. It's just a big honor to be on your show. I can't believe I finally got through.
Well, nothing to be nervous.
Go ahead. No, wait.
Another clown. What are we going to do? We have a world of clowns out there. Good evening, you're on Brainstorms.
Hi, Jack, I have a question about what you were talking about earlier. Now, isn't it true now, let me get this straight here, Jack. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah?
Now, weren't you the Penguin in Batman Part 2?
Nutcases all over the place. Got one at the control panel, too. There goes the phone again. Good evening, you're on Brainstorms.
Yeah, this is for the Penguin. I just was wondering.
We have lots of cretins out there. Good evening, you're on Brainstorms.
Yeah, I've got a question about the weapons of mass destruction.
Sure.
Do you think that weapons like freeze rays and stuff like that should be banned as well?
Like what?
Like freeze rays? I mean, you tried that in Gotham City, right?
Oh, hell. Instead, they call in here and play games. Good evening, you're on Brainstorms.
Jack, you a big man. Yeah, you so big.
That's what I mean. I don't know, guys. My size has nothing to do with it. One wonders what the size is of what's between your ears, facing what you face in this society, with this government, and all you know to do is call in here and make fun.
You pick up the phone. Good evening, you're on Brainstorms. That's all local assholes. Bunch of bastards.
Nutcases all over the place.
Bloody idiots. Bunch of creeps. We get clowns calling in here. These smart asses. We got more freaks out there.
Another freak. We have cretins and cretins. We got cretins, clown, and you're the number one pest.
The crew of idiots. One of the clowns, that's one of our jokers. The jokers are freaks. You cretins. Bunch of bastards. Another clown. Never understand these folks.
That's one of the asses. We have lots of cretins out there. These smart asses.
A lot of your callers tonight are some real punk bitches.
And you're one of the local freaks. Another freak. Let's go to the phone again. Hope this creep has disappeared.
It's a clown. Another clown. One of the clowns, we get clowns calling in here. It's a clown. What are we going to do? We have a world of clowns out there. That terrible bunch of, I won't call them names tonight. I can't think of enough names to call them. Bunch of creeps. You cretins. Freaks. Jokers are smart asses, bunch of smart assholes. Bloody idiots. Bunch of bastards. Yes, they're out there tonight in force.
Good evening. Once again, this is Brainstorms, and I'm Jack Jersawitz.
There's the telephone. Good evening, you're on Brainstorms.
Jack, what do you think about the state of Israel?
I think the state of Israel is occupying the lands of the Palestinians. That if there's going to be a state of Israel, it has to be a, what's the word I'm looking for, a state for all people and not a religious state. And that the Palestinians and the Jews and anybody else that wants to live there should live there peacefully.
Are you Jewish?
My parents were. I'm an atheist.
Figures, you commie fucking bastard!
Yeah, that's who I thought it was. Good evening, you're on Brainstorms.
Yeah, Jack. I've been watching CNN, and I was just wondering how long is your penis?
Excuse me?
How long is your?
I have an answer for that too, but it's not very polite and beyond where I'd like to go on this show. One could say as long as he is tall. Good representation. Let's go to the phone. Good evening, you're on Brainstorms.
Yeah, sure. I just want to clarify. Earlier, did you call for the President of the United States to be hung?
After trial, yes. After trial, conviction.
You are advocating that the President of the United States be killed.
After trial and conviction, absolutely.
Really? Well, I have two things for you. Number one, the Secret Service should get on your butt.
They better bring the
Two,
warrant.
get a new outfit, girl!
Secret Service has visited us before. They always get asked, do you have a warrant? And they always say no. And I say, well, there's the door. You know what to do. Leave. Actually, my language isn't quite that polite. Good evening. You're on Brainstorms.
What's your favorite laxative?
Yeah. These guys don't go away, do they? We're going to have to do the research. We're going to have to find out who they are and make sure they get turned off. Make sure they find it's not productive. We can always go talk to the police and talk about harassing phone calls and see what the police will say about that and see what Bell South will say about that. Should be amusing. Good evening, you're on Brainstorms.
Yeah, I was wondering, do you know where my car keys are? I can't find them.
I could say, but I won't get that coarse. I tell you where to look for them. And these guys that make a habit of getting in here and harassing us, and we'll catch up with you guys. We'll find out who you are, and we'll publish it. There's more than one way to get at you. These guys don't understand, or if they do understand, they're going to become the goons of this growing fascist regime. They're going to become the brown shirts. They're going to become the guys who go out on the street and pick out, I won't use those words, various individuals because of their ethnicity or their religious background or their nationality and beat them up and stab them with knives and dump them in the river, as did the brown shirts and the silver shirts of the Nazi regime in Germany. These are the guys that will be the guards in the concentration camps, that will put people in the gas chambers and then in the ovens, first, of course, extracting from their teeth, from their mouths, gold teeth, and from their clothes and bodies anything else of value. That's who we have here harassing us, because they have no sensitivity at all to anything that's going on or anything that's being said here. Good evening, ma'am. Yep. But we're here for anybody else. You keep dialing, you'll get in around these cretins, around these young goons whose only intent is to please themselves, and that means ultimately to serve the state in whatever repressive measures it will bring against its opponents. Good evening, you're on Brainstorms.
Hey, first of all, I just want to say I love the show. Long-time watchers, my first time calling in. I just want to say I think it's representative of U.S. treatment, U.S. foreign policy regarding Israel during the 72 Olympics when they legalized Olympic butt darts. Quit cornholing!
Yes, that's the way it works, guys. Let's go to the phone. Good evening, you're on Brainstorms.
Yeah, I like the new technology with the website on the camera. That's kind of cool.
Well, we can do that. It's very bad, though, because we don't really get a good image.
Not bad. I just want to say you were criticizing the people that call in and pranking you, and I find it rather weird that you were criticizing the president and the attorney general for throwing people in jail, and you're talking about throwing people that are prank calling in jail.
No, I wasn't going to throw them in jail. I was going to do everything I could to find out who they are.
Could you pull up a website for me?
Why?
It's called FuckYouJack.com.
Oh, yes. That's these cretins out here. Yeah, we'd like to know where they are and who they are. That might make some sense. I see we have a phone call. Let's see who's on.
Yeah, okay, Jack.
Audio down.
Okay, there we go.
Control room crazy. Turn on the TV.
Yeah, no, I think it's a problem in your control room, Jack.
No, it isn't.
How are you?
Okay, how are you?
Great. Listen, now, just want to tell you that keep that furniture. It's real, and the concrete reminds me of your fucking...
Yeah. That's one of the concrete heads out there in TV land who has nothing better to do than demonstrate his intellectual capacity by calling in here and harassing us periodically. And let's see who this is. Good evening, you're on Brainstorms.
Hello?
Yes.
What is this TV about?
Well, if you'll sit there and listen a little bit, you'll find out what it's about, okay? Yep. Good evening, you're on Brainstorms.
Jack.
Yeah, turn your TV down, please.
Yeah, I think you're having problems on your end there. Just
No?
have a question there. Can I borrow one of them pens in your pocket?
Yep. That's unfortunately the intellectual tenor of many of what this school system turns out. They don't do a good job on training people to think and deal with serious issues. Good evening, you're on Brainstorms.
You are so fine.
We don't really need that. And all we have is some clowns that want to make fun on the channel. Good evening, you're on Brainstorms.
Yes, hello, kind sir. How are you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Just a question for you about your show. Why are you such a fucking idiot?
Well, we really don't need to reply to that kind of thing. I think the audience is capable of judging who is what here. Good evening, you're on Brainstorms.
Here's a brainstorm for you, man. I cry when...
What are you going to do? Good evening, you're on Brainstorms.
What exactly is the issue we're talking about?
Well, if you'd shut up for a while and listen, you might find out. That's the way it goes, guys. You might get an education, even. Those of you who have nothing better to do than make funny calls. Good evening, you're on Brainstorm.
Yes, how are you today? There's a woman that keeps calling up and asking you about your show. Why do you refuse to answer her questions? She's trying to further and understand about your show, and I understand your show, but why are you so fucking ugly?
There we go. Good evening, you're on Brainstorm.
Yeah, as far as the Palestinian situation in the Middle East, question, Jack, I think, by the way, you're still having some audio problems. You might want to tell your technical people it's very low. The signal's very low. But as far as the Middle East question is, I think it would be helpful maybe if you went over to the Middle East and you could be fuckface of Arabia!
Yep. That's the way it goes. And these are the kinds of cretins that make it possible for the Bushes in the world to exist, for the Bushes in the world to carry out their murders, and all the other things that governments like the U.S. government do. If some of you, call in, then these cretins that are calling in and harassing us won't get through as often, or perhaps at all. Good evening, you're on Brainstorms. Good evening.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, I was watching CNN today, and I cry when I'm masturbating.
What can one say to that? I can think of all kinds of rejoinders to that kind of idiot. None of them polite, none of them nice, and probably none of them suitable for the kind of audience that we know we have besides these folks. Let's go to the phone. Good evening, you're on Brainstorm.
Yes, sir.
Turn your TV down, please.
Yeah, I'd like to play you something and see if you can guess who this is, please.
Oh, it's our boys again. It's these young cretins out there who are playing games. They're still with us today. That's a long attention span. I wonder what they're on. That's the way it goes. Oh, there's the phone again. We'd rather talk to people than read. Good evening, you're on Brainstorms.
'Cause I'm your lady.
Well, what are you going to do, guys? Some folks are serious and some aren't. Phone again. We're not going to get to read tonight. We've already done it. Good evening, you're on Brainstorms.
Yeah, in regards to weapons of mass destruction, I was reading an article in Roundtable Thursday by Jeff Taves, and I found interesting what he had to say, which was, NBA!
Cretins are still with us, huh? That's the way it goes. We live in a world with fools as well. That's the way it goes. Phone is at it again. Good evening, you're on Brainstorms.
Hey, what's up, man? What do you think about Cuba? I want you to repeat that.
Excuse me? Excuse me? I didn't catch you.
You're a fat fuck.
Oh, well. Same guys, they changed the voice. Same cretins. Same mindless, probably drunk or on drugs. Folks that have nothing better to do than call in here and harass us. Good evening, you're on Brainstorms.
Yeah, that's Uncle Joe.
And there we go again. I could ignore this. Hate to. Good evening, you're on Brainstorms. We will ignore it for a little while. Let me go to the phone. Good evening, you're on Brainstorms.
Yeah, I was wondering if you would want to smoke a bowl with me tonight.
My what? Oh, must be one of my GSU friends. Good evening, you're on Brainstorms.
Yeah, I was wondering how much pot you smoke.
Well, you know something? I've done a little bit of that in the past as an experiment, and it has no effect.
Well, the reason I asked that is you're fucking wacko.
You think so? I mean, I wish I had a way to turn his number around and let everybody out there know so you can all call him and tell him what a wacko he is. You know, wacko's a matter of taste sometimes. That's the way it goes. Good evening, you're on Brainstorms. Good evening.
You're a blooming idiot.
Excuse me? Couldn't hardly hear him. I think he called us an idiot or something.
He didn't say anything.
Nothing important anyway. But that's the way it goes. Well, guys, those are always interesting.
We're off the air.
Oh, we're off.